Hello, my lovely audience. Anyway, welcome to another video. Before we get started in this one, first of all, I'm aiming for something. I'm aiming to make this my longest video yet. Is all my videos going to be as long as this one in particular? No, not really. They're all going to stay the same. But I just want this one to be slightly longer. Second of all, this YouTuber named Vasto Lord What Ifs. He made a version of this. I really liked it, and I recommend it, even though it's just a part 0. It was still entertaining. So, anyway, let's get into the video. Yeah, just randomly plugging my friend. Plugging his channel. Anyway, let's get into the video. Yay! Hunger. The one driving force for most creatures to strive to survive. Hunger, that feeling you get whenever you go near KFC. Deku would wake up one morning, engulfed by it, gripped by it. When he would wake up that one morning, he would feel nothing but hunger in his stomach. He wouldn't even feel tired. Izuku had always been a happy child, but today, on his 4th birthday, he would feel nothing but hunger and pain as, well, inside of his mouth he could feel something there that shouldn't be there. He could feel something, just pain in his mouth. When he would go to the mirror to go brush his teeth, he would realize that he has multiple rows. And his teeth got significantly sharper. They went from, Izuku Midoriya happy smile to Kirishima, except pointier. Like full-on shark type stuff. Fun fact, did you know that sharks actually have a conveyor belt of teeth? Yeah, they have multiple teeth. Sets of teeth. Yeah. So, when he would go downstairs to his mother, he would eat the food she would have made him for breakfast in a heartbeat. And, well, for the rest of the day, he would just be so hungry. And, well, something would go wrong on their way to the court doctor. As Inko's driving there, a drunk driver would slam into them, knocking them off the road into the nearby forest. Everything would go black. Deku would wake up somewhere he doesn't even recognize. Not the forest or anywhere. He would wake up in a cage. Looking around, he would, not see anyone or anything, but then the cage would begin moving. Upwards. Like Maze Runner style. Remember the first scene of the movie? Not like the very first, but one of the first, where our main character wakes up in the, elevator and then begins to scream, because he has no idea what the hell's going on. But instead of a utopia in the middle of a giant death maze, he ends up in an arena. He would hear, some man saying over the microphone, "Today we got a special one for you, everybody. It's the debut match of the king himself. One of the very few elder dragons." I can't remember its name, but it's... Okay, what is it? Shit, I can't remember its name. It's the deer. That's not descriptive enough. Okay, give me a moment whilst I decide on an elder dragon that I can remember. Understand? it's still recording. Shit. Uh, so I've decided on that Elder Dragon from Monster Hunter Stories 2. The end one, like the final boss one. The four-winged one, with the magic wings. Like 6 wings, more like it. Yeah, that one. I've decided on that one. I can't remember its name. One thing I hate about myself is that I can't remember any of the names of the Elder Dragons most of the time. Anyway, it's that one. So, yeah. It would, this would be its debut match, It to go ahead and eat Deku, as you would say, in order to, get the crowd riled up for its actual opponent. But when it, begins to charge, well, fly towards Deku in order to scoop him up like the last piece of ice cream in the tub of ice cream, time would slow, as Deku would just look at it. His mouth would begin to drool, as well the scent of it. It encapsulates him. He smells it. He sees it. To him it looks like what the feeling Deku is experiencing is a man who has not eaten anything for multiple weeks walking into an all-you-can-eat buffet. That's the feeling he is experiencing. Now I'll tell you what his quirk is. So, he has 3 stages. Well, technically 4, but one's more of a rage state. The first one, his basic, human state. He's hungry all the time, but not like mind-numbingly, extraordinarily hungry. He's only so hungry because it's the first day of his quirk and he's not used to it. But the second stage, aka the deviljho form, it's like he's very hungry, but he isn't dying. Well, he's just very, very hungry. The rage state is like the first one, but he's stronger. You know how deviljhos can go berserk? That is what Deku can do. And then there's the I forgot its name, fuck. But like the second, like the rare variant. Oh, neat. The variant. The one that's overflowing with the dragon, I forgot its name. I'll just call it the Berserk Deviljho. That might actually be its name. But yeah, you can access those 4 modes. Fuck, I forgot. The Elder Dragon's name is like on the tip of my tongue, but I can't remember it. It's just gonna die anyway. So when it gets close to Deku, a massive spout of unpurified dragon emits from his body as the Elder Dragon, I can't remember its name, so I'm referring to it as the Elder Dragon, would be bitten on the neck and its head ripped clean off and then swallowed as something large, gruesome, and savage would just be standing there. It would roar with pure unbridled rage and hunger and just rip into the Elder Dragon. Within seconds, its entire carcass dissolved and eaten, and Deku wants more. More blood, more food. He would roar, yelling, more. The crowd would go silent before erupting. The announcer, who was directly above Deku, you know, on like a fancy cable thing that has a metal disc at the bottom, just to, look cool, says, "Oh, well, damn." I didn't know we were having a deviljho today. They should have told me that the elder dragon was gonna be the sacrifice, not the kid. Anyway, I guess let's just get in that elder dragon's opponent. It's a Nergigante. As the Nergigante is, just backing up like, oh fuck no, I ain't fighting that thing. Deku would just go to this, turn his head, and go full-on sprint sicko mode at it, proceeding to bite it on the head, and leaving it on the ground, still alive, and then would just rip into its guts, because that's where the most fat is. He would rip into its guts whilst it's still alive. This is an actual thing deviljhos do. They rip into their prey whilst they're still alive, cooking them alive, because deviljhos run extremely hard. So the Nergigante is just screaming in pain, like, get me out of here! The crowd of rich bastards is absolutely loving this. As well, Deku would swallow the rest of the Nergigante, spines included. He does not care, and the spines just end up getting digested. More food for him. He would be baited back to his cage by a pile of steak, as he would reduce back to normal Izuku form and just dig his teeth into them. A few years would pass. Deku is now 8. Now, well, a flame-haired individual would be taking their, scarred daughter, like physically scarred, to, a coliseum of sorts. A fighting arena, which is just in a secluded area. As well, NG Todoroki, that's his name, would say to his daughter, look, Shoto, you're gonna have to learn how to use your quirk one way or another, and you better have some form of bloodlust with it. So I'm taking you to see one of my absolutely favorite fighters in this arena compete. Oh, you're gonna love it. And once you do, you'll start using your fire and be, more aggressive in training. Wouldn't that just be amazing? Upon entering, the same announcer would begin. Hello, everybody. You know what night it is tonight? Yes, it's Tuesday night. The night of one of our most well-loved monsters' big return after that whole, almost breaking out thing. We had to kinda rebrief them and deal with that. But now that one of our most well-loved monsters is finally back in the arena, we'll start with the usual sacrifice of 20 great Jagras. The elevator with the Jagras, still in human form, would come up as they are all, over cocky. And over 30 to 40 minor Jagras. Another elevator would come up with the regular Dragras. Dragras. Or Draggies. Draggies? Joggies. Dragras. Joggies? The Jagras. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. They all huddle together and go to monster form because there's so many of them, nothing could possibly deal with them. As well, one elevator would come up, revealing, a boy around Shoto's age, kind of cute, surprisingly muscular. She, is head over heels, but then realizes, wait, is the boy the sacrifice? Oh no, the Jagrasaw! And she just says with pride, as, well, an eruption of dragon, as a massive wave of it would come at the Jagras, burning them to, well, severely scorching their bodies and just killing them all instantly, as, this would come walking along and just begin eating them. And Shoto, instead of paying attention to the dead people, pays attention to how damn cool she thinks that thing looks. Like, she legitimately thinks that thing is badass. And she also notices a lot of scars, touches her scar. You can kind of see a slight blush forming on her face. And she just grins like, I fucking knew this would work. Ray called me crazy, but nope. This is working. Enji would just pat his daughter on the back and say, we can come here every month if you do good on your training. As you can hear a little girl scream just coming from, coming from Shoto. A little girl scream of pure joy. As well, the actual opponent would come up. Okay, so why am I like this? Fuck. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with that one. I can't remember its name. You know what? Never mind. I am. That one fish that has the spikes. The spiky fish. The land spiky fish. Yeah. A fish with multiple spikes on its fins, which is a land fish, and it also apparently swims through the sand. Yeah, that fish comes up and immediately gets its head bitten off and then eaten. Like, Deku was sprinting at it the exact moment the elevator began to work, so he just got eaten. As well, multiple other monsters such as this big boy. I'm just going to use pictures for a few because I can't remember most of their names. Well, off the top of my head because, well, it's 11 at night, so my brain's kinda a little bit not working properly, but it also is because I've practically planned out every second of this video. No, I do not have a script. So, the monkey. I don't have any pictures. So, that horned monkey. Is that monkey an elder dragon? I can't remember. I've never seen... I have not seen that monkey in a really long time. Okay. A set of, like, an entire herd of Aptonoth, an entire herd of the big things. Okay, there's a lot of big things in Monster Hunter. Entire herd of, like, the Brachiosaurs. Like, just the flat-out Brachiosaurs. A Tigrex. A Tigrex. And, Diablos. So, Deku gets up, turns to them, they turn to him, and it's a free-for-all blood match. So they begin coming at each other. Deku goes for the Tigrex. As it was about to hit him with that palm attack thing it does, Deku would weave, bite its arm, rip its arm off, and then eat the arm. Just the wings gone. As he would use his spiked club to knock it, the spiked club tail, to knock it in the head, and then just decapitate it and eat its head. At this point, a lot of other monsters are dying. As well, the monkey has climbed to the top of the cage, because they're in like a cage match. So Deku sees him, turns around, and fires a beam of dragon, launching himself in the sky like Godzilla. Fun fact, Godzilla can actually do this. See? This is actually something he did, to fly. Like, this is what old-timey Japan was like. Like the original Godzilla movies. He did this. So Deku does it. Launches himself at the monkey. He rams into the monkey. And proceeds to rip and eat, to make the Doomslayer proud and rip and tear. And, well, a maw of pure teeth and spikes gets the job done. Yeah, the monkey is now dead. Now it's him and the Aptonoth, and, well, most of the Aptonoth. Some of them are dead. And, well, also the herd of Brachiosauruses, basically. Just him and them. You can guess how that goes. Anyway, Deku returns to his cage, turns back into his normal form, notices Shoto at the very front, just like, please notice me, please notice me, please notice me, and winks at her. As you can guess, Shoto turns completely red and falls over. Deku laughs and goes into his cage, where he is swiftly brought down. Now, the cages, the area where the monsters are held is, well, technically public. Like, you can go there, you can talk to the fighters, but you can really only do that. So, Shoto goes there, talks to him, and they basically just see each other every month when Shoto comes to watch his entire shtick. Watch his fights. Okay, so another few years would pass, as, Shoto would of course use her fire, because otherwise she would not be allowed to see, basically, her crush, like, at all. So she of course uses her fire. Okay, so, also Shoto is the one who gets one fall in this what if. Just, yeah. So, she would end up meeting a young lady called Momo Yaoyorozu, because also her parents are also rich, and we really don't know about their morality or who they are, so I'm just assuming that they are capitalists, like the evil kind of capitalist that exploits people for money, and they like to see people suffer, like classic movie capitalist. Like Scooby-Doo kind of capitalist. Except they frequent the Fight Club as well. They would become friends, and, well, yes. Shoto would go to UA, but still make time to see Deku. Mina, at some point, will just ask Shoto outright, hey, where do you go every month? Like, every month, the exact same day, you just dip. Like, every time we ask you if you want to go do something with us, at that specific day of the month, you say no, you have something busy to do. So what is it? I want to know. Shoto just looks at her. Mina looks at her. They stare at each other, and Shoto just turns around and says, none of your business, bitch. As Denki in the background just goes, oh! Just like, making fun of the fact that Mina just got roasted. But after some time, Mina would eventually convince her to tell her that she's going to see an old friend which she has a massive crush on. but they kinda can't date since technically he can't leave where he is. Mina pushes her for more questions. Shoto just gives her the middle finger and walks off. Mina turns to Sue, and they both say in unison, "You want to follow her?" And then they both turn to Hagakure. "Go follow her." In unison. Perfect unison. So, Hagakure goes to follow Shoto, finds the fight club, sees her talking with one of the fighters who is heavily scarred at this point with green hair and a massive toothy grin. Also, the bars of what appears to be his cell have bite marks in them and teeth. Very sharp and hard-looking teeth, considering they broke into the metal and are still in pristine, perfect condition. You know, there's a 30-minute notice of the fight. You know, Shoto goes to get some popcorn. Hagakure goes back via the bus. She tells everyone, and they just go there. You know, Shoto's sitting there casually, you know, with popcorn. Momo comes to sit with her. So, and, you know, Shoto's very excited because, you know, Habu is coming out. Momo would look to Shoto and say, "Man, you really like Deku, huh?" "Of course, like, have you seen him fight? Plus, he has a body of an Olympian Spartan." Momo just says, "True." When literally everyone else at UA turn up to where they're sitting, Shoto proceeds to stare at them. They stare at her. Kirishima then immediately asks, "Why are you here?" She points to Deku, who is currently waiting in his cage. You know, they're having technical difficulties with the gate. No, that's not a good reason. He's just waiting for the other contestants to get up there. But he's, like, in position to get out and start ripping. "You want to see the fight," Kirishima says. Shoto, you know, shakes her head, like, no, and then points to Deku again. Mina then says, "Oh, it's your boyfriend." Shoto turns red and says, "He isn't my boyfriend." Bakugo says, "He kinda looks familiar," and then has PTSD of Deku. Post-traumatic stress, and he's just staring out into space as something in his head clicks, and he swears loud enough for the entire arena to hear him. "So that's where my friend went. So that's where Izuku went. So he didn't die in that car crash," he would say with a just pissed off kind of thing, kind of voice, and, you know, a grin that says, "I'm going to murder everyone here." "He was kidnapped." Shoto just asks, "What? How do you know Izuku's name? And what do you mean by kidnapped?" "Well, car crash." He then explains how Deku got into a car crash and was presumed dead, but no one could find his body, and how Bakugo mourned because they were childhood best friends, and the fact that he ended up here because he was kidnapped to be a sacrifice initially makes him so pissed off that he's just about ready to blow this entire building to Kingdom Come and needs Kirishima and Ida to just sort of hold him back. So, Shoto invites them to sit, because this is going to be exciting as well. Okay, so a bunch of monsters come out of, well, their cages. Specifically, give me a moment, a Pookie, a Legiana, and that weird, you know, that weird, like, not that. And, what else? Pookie, Legiana, and that one mouse bat thing. I think it's just a Pookie. A Poochie. A Pookie. Yeah, I think it's just a Pookie. So we have a Pookie, a Pookie, and a Legiana. So they fly up. Deku turns into this. As, you know, Shoto gets excited, Momo's, like, cheering on Deku. The rest of the class are just staring, like, what's gonna happen? Kirishima's the only one who's really getting into this, until the Legiana almost freezes Deku to the ground and comes in trying to attack his eyes before Deku bites one of its wings off, and then uses his dragon to scorch it dead, and then breaks out of the ice and swallows him whole down that giant maw, just like a noodle. Kirishima would stop cheering and just say, "What the fuck?" Bakugo would just be conflicted because he did not know what Deku's quirk would be, or really anything. So Bakugo would just be conflicted inside, but then proceed to snap out of it because it's still Bakugo, who is a violent motherfucker, and just says, "Do that to the rest of them, yes! Gore, blood!" What? Kirishima's just sat next to him, staring at him. He would just look at him and say, "What? You know me, you know how I act. Why is this a surprise to any of you?" They just, like, everyone just looks back at the match. As the Pookie, you know, the bat mouse with the neck, you know, the bat mouth with the, brain not working. The bat mouse with that inflatable, like, frill, like that inflatable neck air sac that allows them to float and breathe out puffs of air. His neck would just inflate as he would launch a stream of air at Deku, shattering the rest of the ice that was melting off his body and that was on the ground. Deku would counter by blasting Dragon at it, burning it severely, and forcing it to crash down to the ground as Deku would bite its neck, rip off its head, and eat that, as he would then slap it up like it was a noodle, like he did with the, Legiana. The Pookie would try and poison Deku, only to realize that deviljhos can eat everything, including Pookies, so they must have some form of poison immunity or resistance, right? Right. So Deku just walks past the poison, walks through the poison, and clubtails it out of the sky, breaking every one of its bones because, well, creatures that can fly have hollow bones, especially something as big as a Pookie. I don't care how light the gravity is, actually I do, but yeah. And then Deku would eat it. As well, that's just the starters, as 30 to 40 Velociprey, 20 Velocidromes, And, well, just about every prey and drome, the raptor, blah, the velociraptors, every one of the velociraptors, the things that have dromes and preys in their name, that exact number would come out. Deku would begin running through them like a freight train, becoming this monstrosity, because numbers, is Shoto would cheer, like, yes, yes, the berserk form, my favorite, like, she has the hearts for him type stuff. Bakugo's like, that is awesome, yep, that's my childhood friend. Momo's like, it's badass, what can I say? The rest of the class is like, what the actual fuck? They are all scared, disgusted, and horrified of this individual before them. Unlike the rest of their class, which is having the time of their lives, like, everyone who isn't Bakugo, Shoto, or Momo is just sat there, paralyzed, in absolute terror. Like they are too scared to mutter a single word as they say this thing, just Godzilla breathing out immense amounts of dragon everywhere, clubbing Jackrass and Velocid prey. Well, Velocid technically, out of, so hard that they're flying against the cage. Like, every velociraptor type monster is here, and they're not even making a dent. Not to mention the fact that all of them are not even, like, there's so many of them, and they aren't even doing anything. And, since the average monster is about a dozen or so times stronger than a person, this is horrifying. No wonder deviljhos were so rare. They, are absurd. As well, Deku was ripping his way through the Jagras and Velocidromes and the Jaggy, eating everything he can, like Kirby sucking them up style. He's just like Kirby sucking them up. He doesn't care if they're alive or not. He's just eating them. Not to mention the fact that Deku has practically, lost all control by entering this form. Takes a few minutes for him to cool down after this, because, you see how this works is the dragon kind of permanently, okay, so, deviljhos have the ability to go berserk, where, their bodies release a hormone which tenses their muscles, making them stronger, but also making them harder. So, when a deviljho becomes a berserker deviljho by eating another deviljho that's filled with dragon, so how a berserker deviljho is made is when a deviljho that's full of dragon eats another deviljho that's full of dragon. So it's now 2 times full of dragon and turns into this thing. Its muscles are now permanently tensed. Also, fun fact, the red bits on a berserked deviljho, not berserked, and a deviljho that has went berserk, not this kind of berserk, the kind of berserk where, basic normal deviljho, the red bits on it is actually its skin. Not skin, it's flesh. Just boiling and bubbling because deviljhos are so hot, and when it goes berserk, it gets even hotter, like physically hot. So, yeah, that's why there are red bits. That's its skin ripping open, from how powerful its muscles are, and, the fact that their skin is spread thinly because their muscle just suddenly doubled. Berserked deviljhos have permanent steroid on their muscles, and they also become stronger because of the dragon, so it's a even greater boost on them. So Deku is full strength, just shattering everything in sight, eating it and crushing it, and then slurping up the crushed paste like it was panitro. In case you're wondering, it's a type of porridge in this country that's so absorbent that you have to eat it quickly or you're gonna end up with a mouthful of it. Dry and sandy and dusty. Yeah, it's very absorbent, and if you, eat a little bit, all the saliva in your mouth is just gonna be dried out. If, well, you eat it dry. So, yeah. If you ever buy any, don't eat it dry, and eat it quickly. It's also best with sugar. So, Deku is just slurping them up and eating everything in sight in a brutal berserker state as the entire crowd cheers, including Shoto, Bakugo, and Momo, as everyone else in the class is just paralyzed. The fight ends, Deku returns to his cell, falls on the ground, and begins eating a pile of steak that they left for him as he's, mentally cooling down. Shoto springs up, and Bakugo in unison. They both spring up, I want to go see Deku. Bakugo says, I want to go see Deku. Momo is I want to go with these two. They clearly are people of class. Mayonetta is hold me, Sue. He isn't even being a pervert at this point. He isn't even reaching for, He's just flat out scared and just holding her arm out of pure terror. He is not being perverted in any sense of the word. He's just holding her arm because he is just too scared. Too traumatized. When they get down there, Shoto skips to him. Skips. Not ring around the rosy skips. And Bakugo's hey, Deku, remember me? It's Bakugo Koski. Deku looks at Bakugo. Holy shit, Kachana! Oh my goodness. Now Bakugo and Deku are catching up. Everyone else in Class 1A is just slowly walking down the stairs. Deku turns to face them and says, Hi, my name is Izuku Midoriya, what's yours? He says with a grin filled with teeth. Teeth, very sharp, pointy grin. There are teeth where there should not be teeth, as, there's still blood on his face. Around his mouth, there's still blood. My mouth. Oh, I have an idea, he says very quickly, as he would bite a piece of wood in his cell and gnaw on it, getting out some of his loose teeth. His mouth would now looks normal when he's smiling, but not when he's talking. He still has a bunch of teeth inside of his mouth. Better? He would say. Mayonetta would slowly nod. He would say, he's holding on to Sue's leg. Wait, this isn't a place for children. Who's that? That's Mayonetta, the class pervert. Pervert? He would, Bakugo would say, that Mayonetta's pervert like that, and Deku would just proceed to death stare Mayonetta, and he would say, Shoto, I have a question. Has that man sexually assaulted you in any way? Shoto would just turn to him and say, Sick 'em, boy. Deku would then ram into his cage, almost knocking it over if it was not for the chains holding it down, and would bite at the bars. The reinforced metal bars, like he was a wild dog. Mayonetta would just, be hiding behind Sue's legs, traumatized and afraid for his life. as the cage would slam back onto the ground. Like, I hope that taught you your lesson, otherwise I will find you. Anyway, what's your names? I would love to meet Shoto and Kanchan's friends. I'm Ed- Ejiro Kirishima. This is Mina Asui, and uh, uh well, uh, oh, come on, you can say it. Uh, what, deviljho got your tongue? Your tongue does look delicious, though. Oh, no. I just ate, come on. Why am I like this? You're, you know, Mina would just walk up to Shoto and say, your friend talks very fast. Yeah, I know. It's because of his high metabolism rates. Fun fact, the harder you get, the faster your digestive system works, which is why deviljhos are so perpetually hungry. They burn very hot, like hard enough for things to boil. Yes, they are basically walking kettles, except violent, and they probably won't boil anything for you, but just eat you. And the can with the water. They don't care. They will eat anything. Their stomachs can digest it. Anyway, yeah. So, Deku would be in his, cage, just trying to get Class 1A to talk. Not like in interrogation talk, like, just trying to have a conversation with them. Like, uh, Shoto, I'm pretty sure that you shouldn't have brought your friends. Not to mean any offense, but I don't really think they could physically handle my display. Oh, lunch. Well, technically brunch, but I haven't eaten in the last 2 minutes, and I felt like kind of breaking out of here and eating people. So this is better than anything. You would say, slurping down a massive pot of stew, because that fills up your stomach the most. Meat stew with vegetables. Very nice. And it's also a curry. Something that will make anyone's mouth drool. Talking about it is making me hungry. I think I should stop. But yeah, he just slaps it down like it was a bowl. Like, oh, I'm not. Oh yeah, I feel better now. For the next 5 minutes, I guess. Like, what is this? My fifth brunch? I don't know. Oh, my quirk makes me very, very hungry. I'm a hungry boy. Gotcha. Yeah, Zuko. Isn't Go alive? You know, Bakugo would be like, yeah. She's been very upset, but she's alive. He just smiles. Great. Now then, I see that Mayonetta is within 5 feet of my cage. Let me rectify that. You would say before trying to pounce at Mayonetta again, as the rest of Class 1A is just sorta trying to figure out a way to storm and kill everything and everyone in this place. Storm the place and figure out a way to make it seem like they accidentally killed Deku because, well, too scary. Sue is kind of like, we shouldn't kill him because he's a person. Jiro and Denki are like, we should kill him, put him out of his misery, he's clearly constantly hungry. And Sero is like, we should just kill him because he's a crime against nature. And also Monama's there. Yeah, Monoma took Deku's place, so he's agreeing with Sero that they should just kill him because he's a crime against nature. Mayonetta is also on their side. You can guess why. But, Shoto just walks up to them, places her arm on both Jiro and Sero's arms, and proceeds to burn Zero and freeze Jiro. Like, if you kill him, I am going to break every bone in your body. Every bone. I'm going to burn every muscle fiber and every nerve in your bodies, and I will freeze you to death. Capiche? Well, freeze and or burn either one of you to death. Fun fact, burning to death is considered considered one of the most, if not the most painful way to die without human intervention. Like, you can obviously come up with a more painful method of torture, but burning to death is considered the most painful natural way to die. Why do I Why do I know this? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. Deku. So Class 1A would leave. Shoto doesn't. Deku and her flirt some more. Bakugo gags at them being cute because he's Bakugo Katsuki. Momo laughs, and I am ending this video off here. Goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience, and bye-bye. See y'all later.